ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Starladder Season 8, Day 9, Game 4 of 6. We've now got RoX.KiS versus 4 Friends and Krilly underway, and we got 2 more coming up after this. So RoX.KiS 4FC should be an interesting matchup, although we should note that RoX.KiS had their full roster 4FC using 2 stand-ins. I'm Zyori, with me again is Merlini. What is the good word here, Merlini Dota?
Yeah, things are rough for 4FC if they're using 2 stand-ins. I didn't even notice that. I don't believe I've seen either of them play before.
5 seconds remaining.
I don't recognize them. Brodet and Sub.
Reserve time.
Yep, they don't ring any bells.
Yeah, I don't know. Boomski, Krilly, Strangby, familiar faces, but yeah, gonna be a little bit rough with 2 stand-ins. So already, a draft fairly standard compared to the last few days of Starladder and what we've seen today, except that Pugna first pick from RoX.KiS, as well as Fury in second pick. Obvious they're going to be going for some pushing action here, Merlini.
I don't necessarily think they should have gone for a Mirana pick that early. I think if you see the Pugna, you have to go a better anti-push carry, such as Gyrocopter. I think he's by and far the best anti-push carry. I think that Alchemist is pretty good too if you want to do that, but I think those 2 are pretty much the top 2 when it comes to that sort of role when you need to defend against pushes. Mirana's like mediocre at best defending against pushes. Like hitting arrow and is nice to set up a team fight, but good teams aren't gonna let you get set up by arrow, especially with an OD there to counter Astral. Mirana is just not a very good pick. And yeah, sometimes it is very good. This particular situation, don't think so. They might win the lanes with it, but at the present, it looks like RoX.KiS is just going to run away in the laning phase and then just either split push or just push and take down towers, perhaps with an early mech on either OD or Pugna. Probably Pugna with a 4-step on OD. And with the OD Ascensara as well as Pugna Blast, that is actually very, very underrated. Pugna has a very large mana pool and very expensive or he just spends a lot of mana, and if you don't ever have to go back and heal, the pressure can just be applied constantly. Whereas someone like Mirana, you starfall once and you have to go home to heal.
Yeah. So wow, I was gonna say that RoX.KiS draft is looking pretty scary, and indeed that's still the truth. But Ogre Magi, I don't think I've ever casted a game where Ogre has been picked, Merlini. I'm gonna admit it.
Cast him, I think one or 2 times. Elias likes him.
So how do you like him? Where does he fit in? What's his deal?
Hold on, I need to cough. I'll be right back.
Okay. You got it. Kunkka going to be the final ban here. Nyx Assassin. Look, I like what RoX.KiS is doing in terms of bans as well. Nyx, Razor, Kunkka, all great bans against their roster. I was going to suggest maybe 4FC could work in a Nyx Assassin, but RoX.KiS a step ahead of me here. Chen going to be their final pick.
Uh-oh. Yeah, this is just pretty much all-out push / early 5-on-5.
Yeah.
Ogre, he's okay. I think he's a little bit too farm-dependent as a support. Like, you kind of have to get arcane boots on him. Not that Earthshaker doesn't need arcane boots, but it's still very difficult for him, and he can't really zone out heroes too. Like, the threat of Fissure is much bigger than the threat of Ignite, or, sorry, Fire Blast. Ignite is a mediocre spell at best. Probably put it on like 2.5 out of 10 out of useful skills. Bloodlust is actually really good though. Bloodlust is extremely good. If you BKB, you still retain Bloodlust. You get a ton of attack speed. It puts you at a really high movement speed too. Although it's not really good on Weaver because firstly, Weaver is already max move speed with Shukuchi. Secondly, Geminate attack is not that useful with attack speed because you just need straight damage. So I think it synergizes much better with a hero like Lone Druid, who attack speed is actually very useful for because you get plus damage from using his ultimate, that active, and the movement speed also stacks really nicely with Rabid too. So I think that there are heroes that are very good with Bloodlust, there are heroes that are bad, and I would say that Weaver is probably one of the worst. Mirana's like okay with it. Alchemist is really good too. Dragonite is extremely good with Bloodlust. You can catch people with his stuns. So I think he's a situational support.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense why he doesn't work well with Weaver. Of course, Shukuchi gives you max move speed, and that Bloodlust movement speed buff doesn't help out all that much. So 5-man smoke, though, for 4FC to start things off. They're going to move right through the dire jungle looking for an opportunity. They may bump into Biz here behind the tree. Nice positioning. There's the stun to start it off. Arrow. That's going to be a first blood. Well played by 4FC. Weaver going to grab that bit of bonus gold, so they're off to a good start here. Poor
By
Biz.
them, they need that lead early game. They need a big lead going into the mid game. I'd say if they want to win this game, I'd say like going into the 15-minute mark, they can't actually, or sorry, going into like the pre 5-man push, maybe like 6 to 9 minutes, they need to be up ahead by a few kills, or else RoX.KiS has the potential to just take down all their towers and just snowball from there. So 4FC really has to win the laning phase, and they are already off to a very good start. I think they know that too. They know that they need to delay that 5-man push as long as possible from RoX.KiS, or even 4-man push with Furion split pushing.
Yep. Agreed, my friend. So let's go ahead and take a look at these lineups here on our rating side. You have 4 friends in Krilly running with 2 stand-ins here. We got Krilly himself going to be on the Weaver, headed down to the bottom lane for some solo safe lane bug action. In the mid lane here, we do have Sub, one of their stand-ins, playing on the Clockwork, solo Clockwork at that. And then up top lane, of course, going to be a tri-lane. Strangly going to be on the hard farming Mirana, and she'll be supported by Boomski on the Venomancer and their other stand-in, Brodet on the Ogre Magi. If the O and the R were transposed, that would be Boudet. It means like the stool or the table in Swedish or something like that, but Brodet I'm not so sure about. On the Dire side, we've got RoX.KiS. In the bottom lane, Sadoy going to be playing some off-lane Furion action. Solo in the bottom lane indeed. Scandal going to be in the mid on the Outworld Vower up against the Clockwork. They've got Go Black playing on the Chen, started in the Radiant jungle, now going to rotate his way up to the top lane to get some Dire jungle action. Biz going to be solo safe lane, or sort of pseudo-solo safe lane here on the Pugna. He does have some support from Yol on that Earthshaker, but at present he's kind of maintaining a solo lane presence. Of course, he was the one that died to the first blood, so Biz being a little bit more cautious up here. A pretty scary tri-lane at that. Sure stun from Ogre, makes for easy Gales, easy arrows, and well, pretty much easy follow-up as well, so not surprised to see him playing passive up here. So let's take a look here. So OD versus Clockwork. We've seen Clockwork in the mid lane a couple of times, but is he good against OD? We always talk about how Kunkka sort of isn't really that great. Razor does pretty well. Does Clockwork at least hold his own?
He's not awful. He has very high base damage, which is really good. He has 63 base damage right now, which is extremely high. OD with with 2 stacks, I guess right now has 80, so the difference is not that high. He also can last hit with his rocket, which is pretty low mana cost, and using Cog to mana burn. Any sort of mana burn is very effective versus OD early game, so I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah, seems to be faring okay. He is 4-2 against the 9-8 OD. Not great, but certainly could be worse, I suppose. Up in the top lane, starting to get a little bit aggressive on this Mirana. Is Chen going to poke his head out of the jungle? He does have himself a Satyr Tormentor. Yeah, the push coming out already.
Level 1.
Yeah, here we go. Oh, Boomski going to get obliterated here. He does get decrepified, takes a lot of damage. Chen going to be able to finish him off. That's a pretty scary combo right there.
Nice setup. They were very well coordinated with that.
Yeah.
Decrep, instant blast, instant fissure, and then test of faith, Satyr Tormentor, Shockwave, all coming out within like 1.5 seconds.
Yeah.
I would say very, very nicely coordinated by them.
Yeah, you don't think about the magic damage from those Chen creeps, but definitely adds up with that Decrepify. Here we go, gonna happen again. Strangby, oh man, almost getting dropped. If only
Very
that
close to Test of
Shockwave.
Faith.
Yeah.
If he had a Test of Faith, it would kill him.
Yep. Or the Shockwave was coming, but he leaped just in the nick of time. So, a noble effort, but RoX.KiS showing us what that burst damage is all about with a Pugna. Whew.
Yeah, it's pretty scary, and you rarely see the Decrepify being used like that, but it is a very underrated skill. Most people think of Pugna, that nasty Nether Ward, as well as the very heavy tower sieging Nether Blast, and the Life Drain too, but Decrep is one of his underrated skills. Very useful defensively versus heroes like Weaver, who doesn't really have that much magical damage output, and especially versus a hero like Lifestealer, who can't really do anything to you during Decrep. So I think that good uses of Decrepify is what separates good Pugnas from bad Pugnas, because good Pugnas, or bad Pugnas, is just easy. You just siege towers, but good Pugnas will use Decrep to great effect.
Yep. Down to the bottom lane, we got Krilly sitting 18-6 on the Weaver up against the 12-2 Furion. So a fairly even lane down there. Not doing too bad. In terms of farm exchange up in the top, Biz is the primary farmer in this tri-lane on the Pugna, 13-0. And Mirana not doing too bad, 18-4 despite the pressure coming her way. But still a very scary tri-lane on both sides. A lot of kill potential either way, but I think 4FC are the ones forced to play a bit more defensive here.
Yep. Stringby doing pretty well. They can get like minuses for the Chen, or I guess one minus. Let's see how Weaver is doing. He's doing okay in bottom. 1-0 for him. Sidoli going for early phase, but just harassing Curly so hard, and Venomancer.
He's got
wasn't actually
melted.
watching that.
Same story, man. Just completely juiced. He doesn't have a leap, so that shockwave hit, and that was all it took. Down he went.
Curly going for a very, very greedy build when Sidoi didn't go for a greedy build at all. That's going to hurt him because now Weaver is forced to go home to heal. His tower comes under a lot of pressure, and now Venomancer is forced to rotate away from top 2. And that's something that we see a lot of players do. They just go for straight hand of Midas after their initial items, and it's not necessarily the best thing because if you can't, if you lose a tower or just lose your lane because someone's forced to rotate, that's gonna it's very bad, especially when they have a Chen and a Pugna who can take advantage of that support leaving immediately. So I think it would have been better for him to get like a casual bottle or something like that. And OD looks like he picks him off with the help of Wrath of Nature.
Yeah, I missed it. That's the top lane. It's
Yeah,
adjusting
I'll take
X
the top
button,
lane
lost
too.
it. So, down to the bottom. Sadoi, going to be in some trouble? Nope.
He can TP out. There's no way to stop him from TPing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If he harasses them down to like 400 HP, maybe they can kill him. But as of right now, just TP out and immediately back off.
Yeah, you're right. At first, when I saw that support, I thought it was the Ogre nearby, not the Veno. But, yeah, everything going pretty steady here. It looks like RoX.KiS off to an okay lead here. About 1,000 gold, 1,200 experience or so. Strangby gonna get bursted a little bit. Is gonna get decrepified, but again, Leap gonna thwart their efforts a bit, though his supports have left him, and now Strangby unfortunately gonna start falling behind in the farm a little bit. Pugna's now tied with him, and he's gonna be forced to retreat to the tower. And even if they push into the tower, still gonna have to be very, very cautious. They should be not too afraid to dive him, I think, if they have an opportunity. Ogre and Veno are going to smoke up, though. We'll see where they end up. Going to rotate through the mid lane. Looks like they may be headed up top, or may do a wrap around in the mid. OD kind of off to the races here.
Yep, doing very well mid, but still not CS leader. We actually see Krilly CS leader right now. Already has his hand of Midas going up, so 4FC smoked on top 2. Bombski and Brode looking for a kill on Bzz. Bzz is perfect.
Yeah, they're looking for it. Oh, almost. Brodette trying to make it happen. There's the Fissure going to come out. That'll force back Strangby. And that'll be the end of the engage. Pretty quiet game so far. So
Yeah, RoX.KiS has a very explosive lineup, though, so just wait for them to get some more levels. They need level 5, at least on Godlike, I think, if not level 6 or level 7. All those are very important levels for Chen.
Yeah.
And Scandal, let's see what he's going for. If he's going for a Midas, then maybe the push is going to come out a little bit later. But they do have the potential to just push. They have the early Arcane Boots on Pugna. They have the potentially Power Treads on OD. That just may be enough. I guess they don't want to make it too risky. So they'll probably wait for both Midases on Nature's Prophet and OD before they engage, in case the push goes poorly and they want a backup plan just in case.
Yep. Up in the top lane, the coordination again through the Decrepify. Then Wrath of Nature came out again. Unfortunately, Strangby just a little bit too fast with those leaps, and they weren't able to pull it off. But still, the pressure is just constant, and he's gonna have to head back to the well now. More Midas coming out though. Now 1 on the Mirana as well as the Weaver, so that's going to be a 2-0 in terms of total Midas count. But it looks like Nature's Prophet is going to grab one of his own. He does have that casual set of Gloves of Haste there to go with the Phase Boots. And OD might just be going for treads, but does have gloves of his own, probably going to be pulling up for a Midas as well. So probably going to be 2-2 in terms of Midas count.
Krilly going on Sidoi.
Yep. Oh, Sidoi taking a lot of damage here. He's going to try to move into the trees, and he will succeed. But going to get boxed out here. I need to do something to shut down this Weaver. I think if they leave Krilly unchecked with a Midas this early as the leading farmer, things could get a little bit rough in terms of that carry.
OD actually just like crushes
smacks him.
Yeah, he does smack him pretty hard.
Is OD AFK here? Like, he's just been sitting in the trees.
I think he's scared of the gate because he doesn't know where to support. So our hook shot will kill him too. So he has to be a little bit scared.
Weaver's the only one that they're a full visual confirmation of. He's just been parked there for a good 30 seconds or so at least.
Yeah, Not the worst thing.
Not the worst
he doesn't
thing.
have his Midas though.
Yeah.
I mean, he could use the jungle, but Goblik's already in there, and all the neutral camps are about to die. So he could be okay. Nope, I see him spinning.
Yeah, no, he's moving. Yeah, it's an interesting position. I understand the thought process, but yeah. Anyway, in the top lane, there you go. It's going to be revealed. I guess that's exactly what he was afraid of. That'll be enough to finish off the Earthshaker, but it's going to cost him their Veno, and maybe even their Mirana. Down she goes. Sanity's Eclipse going to get burned. Now Clockwork going to be in trouble as well. Oh, man. Looks like this could be...
They don't have a dust, though. They don't know where he is. It's going to be revealed in about 5 seconds' time, but he does not have mana. He's going to have to sit there for, like, probably longer than a minute because the Pugna War was there.
Oh, man.
So 0.8 seconds
Dire's
times
bottom tower
60,
is under attack.
that's, or 0.8 mana per second divided by 0.8. Yeah, that's
He's going to be
way
there a
too
while.
long.
So with that, RoX.KiS going to follow up with putting some pressure on this top tier 1 tower. Shen and Furion going to make it pretty easy. Another blast going to come out as well. Nice convincing fight for RoX.KiS, and I think they may be able to finish off
Oh, he's
this
just
tower.
going to die to tower.
Glyph going to come out.
He knows that he's just wasting too much time.
Yeah, just going to
Poor guy.
suicide. Poor guy.
Radiant's top
So Pugna
tower
does
is
finish off the
falling.
tower, so basically a 3-for-1 exchange, and then they do get a tower kill. Nice gold boost there for RoX.KiS.
Yep.
And OD going to grab his
yeah,
Midas.
now their lineup, their draft really comes into play now, and just being able to take towers, and they also need some more items. The Earthshaker very close to his arcane boots. OD still has his Midas kicking in. Nature probably just has his Midas, so they can wait for a little bit. Again, they're not under any pressure to push. They can if they want to, but they don't have to, which is the really nice part about having an OD in your lineup. Because if they don't have the OD, for example, if they go for like a Beastmaster or something like that, like we saw last game, and something that's like useful for pushing as well as fighting early, they don't have late game secured. But now that they have the double Midas with Nature's Prophet and OD, their late game is not going to be bad by any means. Mirana has gone for a Midas too, and playing the Midas War is a little bit dangerous if you want to push. You just get like 2 of Chen's creeps Midas immediately during the push, and after that Chen's like kind of useless, and you still have Weaver and Rano who are pretty good at fighting even without that many items. So I think it's a safe choice by RoX.KiS, not entirely necessary, but still a safe choice.
Yep, and with that, Pugna now going to grab his Necro Book, level 1. And we will move into a pause. So we're going to delay here for a moment. 6-2 here at the 12-minute mark. And just about a 2,800 gold lead, something about that. And we'll see what RoX.KiS want to do here. May want to continue knocking down these tier 1 towers nice and quickly. Although Weaver's farm still continuing to impress. Got the Ring of Health now to go with those power treads. 30 seconds.
But they have lockdown for him though. Sprout is actually really underrated at locking down Weaver. Like if he gets a BKB, it's just so good at focusing down and not letting him go out of control. It wastes a lot of his BKB, and it's also very good at when he's trying to escape. So I think that Sprout is actually one of the best spells for Sweeper. It's contrary to what most people think about Sprout, just like, oh well, it's nice, but is it actually that useful? 5.25 seconds at level 4 is insanely long for a spell like that, especially with Weaver's very limited range and the lockdown from Earthshaker. I think that a farmed Weaver is not their biggest concern.
And Clockwork going to come in. That's going to be a hook shot. Will connect with Sedoy. That battery assault going to do a lot of damage. Down he goes. He does manage to get the ulti off before he falls. Going to bounce across the heroes. Not going to do a terrible amount of damage, but gets it off nonetheless. And we'll see how RoX.KiS want to continue to pursue here. Biz is up. He's ready to do some damage. And it looks like it is just going to peter out. Oh, nice hook shot. Unfortunate for Furion. Nothing to do there, though.
Nature's Prophet, yeah, he needs a 4-staff ASAP, though. Like, almost all Nature's Prophet gets 4-staff for his Clockwork just because of how problematic that hookshot is. He cannot afford to keep getting caught over and over, or the hero's greatest strength and his mobility and split push potential is negated. So he just always has to be able to 4-staff himself or other people out of hookshot cog.
Yep. Oh, really poking forward there. Yeah, anytime there's a Clockwork, that 4-staff, never a bad item choice, but already Furion with the staff of wizardry, so going to be taking heed to your advice here, Merlini.
He could be getting Necrobook. Necrobook's also not bad because it prevents you from getting batteried all the time in that man fight, and you can just summon Necrobooks and man fight the Clockwork back, which is not something that most heroes can do without the use of a BKB.
Port coming in. It is going to be the Clockwork. He's going to take a stun to start things off. The bottom tier 1 tower does fall. And now we'll see how this fight starts to transpire. Krilly going to come in. He is level 11. Going to throw the Scarabs. Life Drain going to be used on the Clockwork. That'll be enough to finish him off. Now Biz taking a lot of damage. Chen going to send him back. And, oh, pardon me. He's not going to see his Astral. Jesus. He disappeared. I totally tunnel visioned and did not see that Astral. My mistake. 1-0, though.
Yeah, it was a nice defensive Astral to keep him alive. They need to keep BZZ alive. He's the most important hero to this push. All the other heroes are somewhat interchangeable, but except for Pugna. Pugna has to be there for the Nether Ward for the Pugna Blast, so you can keep the tower siege up. Looks like 4FC reacting appropriately, split pushing mid and top at the same time, forcing RoX.KiS into potentially a bad decision where they have to decide to either commit for T2 and give up T1s or defend and give them their push and potentially get picked off.
Yeah. It's kind of rough here. The Midas versus, or pardon me, the mech versus no mech really doing work for RoX.KiS right now in these kind of team fights.
They might even push high ground though. That's the thing. Like,
yeah.
RoX.KiS can push high ground right now if they really wanted to.
Some pretty scary momentum here. Weaver chipping away at the tier 1 in the mid lane, but I don't think he's going to be able to finish it off. Furion is going to port in and maybe able to keep this tower out of deny range. Yeah, maybe not quite. Yeah, Haste Rune down in the bottom as well.
They're going to get mid denied. Oh, no, maybe not. Oh,
the glyph, the glyph. Yep, looks like they'll be able to deny it. And up in the top, now that one's going to fall, so they sort of defend one, they secure deny, but not the other. Now Clockwork going to be in some big trouble here. He's on the run, and the Ogre Magi going to be on his way in, but RoX.KiS going to play that pretty passively. They are just going to back up. A little bit surprised. I think they could have pursued that a little bit more, but I guess they didn't know where the Weaver was, so playing it safe. Straight into the Roshan pit here. Let's take a look at the vision of our Radiant side. They've got a ward up on the high ground here on the opposite side of the river, so they should have a pretty damn good idea of what's going on here. The problem is, can they contest
There's no way they can contest.
And the answer is, yeah, resounding no. That's going to be a free Roshan for RoX.KiS.
Clockwork had a hook shot up. Maybe they go for a steal, but other than that, no way.
Yep. So that'll be the end of Roshan here at the 15-minute mark, and the Aegis is going to end up in the inventory of Pugna. So he's going to grab that to go with his level 2 Necronomicon. And in the top lane, Sadoy, some pressure going to come his way. There's the initiation to start it off. This should be an easy kill. Down he goes. Weaver going to be able to grab him.
He died so fast.
Yeah. Just obliterated up there.
Yeah, he has been getting caught out a lot. Sadoy, 0, 2, and 4. Actually going for a Necrobook instead. Looks like RoX.KiS is just content to take down all the towers, though. Again, notice the Aegis goes to Pugna because he's the most important hero. OD, level 11, more farm, but BZZ is really the important hero here with his level 4 Nether Blast. And they get a tower, but split push from Krilly and Potom is going to be extremely, extremely annoying to deal with. I think that they should get a sheep on Scandal ASAP and just skip the other items.
Yeah. Weaver is pretty close to that Lincoln's now. Does have the ultimate orb to go with the Perseverance. Gonna chip away at that tier 2 in the top. Not going to be able to finish it, though. And Pugna does now have that Necrobook level 3. The last upgrade is in the bank. Courier going to be bringing it here in just a moment's time. So I think this pushing power is going to continue on here. And actually, you were right. Sadoy not going to be going for that 4 staff. Going to grab himself a Necrobook level 1. Has level 2 sitting in the bank as well. So that's 2 Necrobooks now.
If they want to end the game early, Necrobook's better for that. If they want to drag it late and get a lot of items up on Nature's Prophet, then a 4 staff is better. So we should expect to see a push. Not maybe with this Aegis. I don't think so. I think I don't know. I think they could put a lot of pressure on the T2s, but I don't think they'll go for a base push with this Aegis. Maybe with next Aegis.
Yeah, I would agree with that. They still have 2 tier 2s they got to troop through anyhow, so they've got plenty of space before they have to try and break the high ground from the low. And looking at the gold grab, about a 7,500 gold lead. Experience lead, negligible, as it well should be. Most of that difference is in towers, of course. And, yep, there it is. Level 2, level 3 Necrobook. And it looks like Chen working on his as well. Does have those first 2 core pieces. So it will be a 3rd Necrobook before too long.
4FC's lineup is so bad at dealing with Necrobooks, though. Like, extremely bad.
Yeah. yeah, how do you deal with them? Is there any
Middle tower is under attack.
what do you do
No,
here?
Lincoln's is really bad versus it. You need BKBs and a lot of physical damage. Like you need BKB plus Desolator on Weaver, but he's not going to have it by the time the push comes.
Right.
Or just a lot of AoE. But Weaver bad at AoE. Mirana paltry. I think with Starstorm, Venomancer mostly single target unless you want to build your ult on it, which you won't. And Ogre very bad at it too. So they don't really have anything to deal with it.
Yep. Tier 2 in the mid lane, taking a lot of damage. Lots of creeps chipping away at it. We see 2 Satyr Tormentors and 1 Centaur Conqueror. Under the control of Chen. That's a good bit of damage Chen alone can put out, let alone all of these other minions they've got. Or summons, whatever the appropriate word is. Cog's going to come out on the high ground.
Okay, reach the high ground.
Yep, going to try to delay this push, but not going to do much. They're just going to go straight for it. No glyph available for 4FC. This tier 3 tower going to start taking a lot of damage. There's the Hand of God. That'll heal up those Chen creeps. And yeah, this is going to be a little bit rough. They're going to be destined to lose this tier 3 tower. And I don't think 4FC can do much to stop this push from crippling their barracks here. Another blast going to come out. There's the hook shot, going to connect with a few in the cogs. Right away the mech comes, and they just turn it around in the clockworks. He gets dropped like he's hot. And now Krilly going to be in some trouble as well. He's going to be stuck in the trees. Echo Slam comes. And yeah, he's going to time lapse. Lincoln's has been completed now. Moonlight Shadow as well. There are some sentries down. But everyone going to have to retreat back to the well. This is going to be mid laner Rax. RoX.KiS picking up a lot of momentum here. Looking borderline unstoppable at this point. I just don't think 4FC have what it takes to stop this pushing. Biz going to be in trouble here. He is going to get thrown in the Astral. Still has the Aegis. Not sure for how much longer. But doesn't matter. Gets burned here. So the
They want the range racks too.
Range racks are still up, and they're going to stick around. Biz going to get hit by an arrow as he comes back up. Another Astral. He'll be safe in the realm of the Nether for now. Sub going to go in once again. Same story, different chapter. He falls. Pugna going to be able to finish off the Mirana as well. Now Krilly and Boomski, the only 2 left. There is an Ogre somewhere, but he's back in the well taking a bath. RoX.KiS, they didn't even lose a single hero in that engage. Oh, man.
And the range Rex is at like 100 HP. Is it going to die to Necrobook? Oh, one more hit. No. Well, it doesn't have any regen, so they just need one more hit on it.
16 hit points to spare. Wow. So, yeah, this net worth chart's starting to look pretty damn good for RoX.KiS here. Weaver, the only one farming well on 4FC at the moment. He's right up there with the Outworld Devourer, but he's kind of a lone threat at this point. 3 Necro books now. Shen's completed his, only level 1, but 2 level 3 Necro books already. The gold graph now upwards of about 12,000. They've also taken the experience lead following that successful team fight. Wow.
I think that 4FC needed a better draft because they drafted Venomancer and Potom first versus a Pugna. Whenever someone picks a Pugna, you need to be expectant of the push. And then they gave Nature's Prophet away second, which is not that bad. It's still a push hero, but it's not like a really explosive push hero. And then they gave away OD, which is really good at sustainability and continuing pushes. And then last pick Chen. So 4FC, they picked up Ogre, very bad at push. Clockwork, very bad at anti-push too. So I think they could have drafted a little bit better, like even something like a Magnus, I guess. And then Magnus is not that great. Just someone with more spammy AoE ability because they have nothing to clear the Chen creeps. As we saw, Chen healed up his creeps once, and after that, they don't really have any more firepower after that. Yeah, they have a wall of wards, but a Rax has already been taken out, and I think that was like a little, like around the 20-minute mark. And yeah, you have a lot of Midases, but if the game ends at like 25 minutes, is that really going to be useful?
Exactly. And as you mentioned, OD does synergize well with this lineup because of that Essence Aura. Of course, it is an aura, so it does add some of that sustainability with the mana pools. And then between the mech, the
aura is so good, though.
Yeah,
the aura is amazing good on Pugna.
Pretty ridiculous here. 3 Centaur Conquerors for Chen as well. They're just going to go straight forward. Everything's going to get dropped here. Glyph is available. Just look how fast that tower is falling. Boomski going to hop in. He will be able to get the Poison Nova off. Barely going to be able to survive to tell the tale. And now, Krilly may be in a little bit of trouble. They are going to burn at dust. Still no kills coming out quite yet. Again, Clockwork going to be the first to fall as he hops in. Hand of God going to come out. Oh, Sanity's Eclipse going to whiff. He's trying to find the Weaver there, but unfortunately not going to find him. And Clockwork
they can
is
just wait for
Necro
back. Books. They can wait for mech too. RoX.KiS is not under any pressure. They still have Midases too. In case this backup this plan fails, they have a backup plan too, which is the thing. And that's really how you win games. You win by having a lot of options. So you always keep your opponents guessing, and you're very difficult to predict as a result. So I like RoX.KiS's like kind of Midas. I wouldn't say Midas juke. It's just their play with the Midases. You can still end the game early even with Midases, and that will really show how strong a team is if you can make that play. But it looks like they're going to back off. They could, again, wait for books. Mech is up soon. Mech is up on the Chen in case they do. So looks like I would definitely say that they're regrouping just to push in like maybe 20 more seconds. And for FC, they can't really push out the lanes in that short amount of time. Godblack also needs more creeps too, so he may swing by like this camp, grab Satyr, and then just go at it again. There's no real reason for them to stop when they can end the game. It's not really risky for them to push up the hill because 4FC doesn't really have that great team fight. Like Clockwork hookshots in and just immediately dies. Aside from that, where's their initiation going to come? They don't even give any flips about the wars too. They just barrel through with treants, with Chen summons, with the Necro books, and just right click the tower. Tower is at less than 10 or around 10% HP right now, so it's gonna die easily to like one Nether Blast plus a couple right clicks.
Yeah, absolutely right. So here it is. RoX.KiS is gonna come in. Necro book's gonna get popped. That sure is a lot of summons. Glyph gonna be used right away by 4FC. And wow, that Mirana just melting, barely able to survive as the Wrath of Nature comes through. Wrath of Nature, pardon me. Rack's exposed now. Creep still continuing just to chip away at it. Mech going to be used for a little bit of sustainability. Clockwork going to throw the hook shot, not going to connect. Going to be off the mark there. They hit a creep.
They don't have the Aegis, so they're in a much worse position than we're pushing the mid racks. So they have to be very careful. There's a Blink Echo.
Yep, that'll be the end of the Ogre Magi, and it looks like it'll be end of the Clockwork as well. That'll be a 2-for-0 in this little skirmish. Now Krilly going to be in big trouble as well. May be able to make it out, but taking heavy damage. Still has to retreat back to the well as Moonlight Shadow comes. And there it is, GG from 4FC. And that's
that was very smooth victory for RoX.KiS. Sudoi got picked up a couple times. Pugna gave up first blood, but all in all they had to do was not lose the laning phase terribly, and you could tell that RoX.KiS is just gonna sweep all their towers with their lineup. 4FC, they have to draft better against a Pugna. It's okay giving away a Pugna first pick. You just have to prepare for it. They were not prepared at all.
Yeah, and Puck was in the pool when they, I think they last picked the Weaver. Puck was an option, but they did pass it up. One interesting statistic here, Weaver actually didn't concede a death. He was 3-0-0 at the end of that match. So Krilly did play quite well. His farm wasn't too bad given how much pressure they were under, but still, as you mentioned, nicely executed by RoX.KiS. They make it look easy, but definitely doesn't always work out that way with those all-in push strats. Still well played. Nice to see a change of pace.
It wasn't all in though.
Strategies.
That's the thing. They had the Midases.
The Midas, yeah. It's interesting. I like it. I like what these RoX.KiS guys are doing. So, guys, we do have 2 more games coming up today here with Day 9 of Starladder Season 8. Every time I say Day 9, I stumble for a second because it's a name, not a day. Red Pandas versus Power Rangers coming up next, and our last match of the day is going to be Mouse Sports versus 4FC. So we may have a little break here. This was a quick game. Q-Pad versus Power Rangers, not slated to start for another 25 minutes. So stay tuned. More Dota 2 action coming your way here on Beyond the Summit. I'm Sayori. With me is Merlini. Thank you for joining us, folks. Stay with us.